Hello, my loves, and welcome back to another episode of Successful, Wealthy, and Confident. I am here with Shanna Stevens, Holistic Coach. And we've been doing this wonderful series where we've been talking about, the healthy adult and the three phases and how to exactly get there. So, for the listeners who have been listening and this is their first podcast in this series, I highly suggest going back to episode 18, which we covered the first phase, which is the child phase, and then episode 19, which we covered the adolescent phase, so that you can be up to date when you listen to this podcast. So, yeah, let's go ahead and dive right in. Shanna, thank you so much for being with me through this whole process. I'm really excited to get into what exactly the healthy adult is and what is this last phase.
Thank you again for this opportunity. This has been so fun. Um, yeah, we've talked about the three phases of life. So we've simplified it: the child, the adolescent, and now the healthy adult. Right?
Hmm.
So child is ages 0 to 6 years old, and that's where our navigational systems, our GPS systems are developed, where wounding happens, where behaviors from our caregivers are picked up as children. We don't have that discernment, right? And so we try to make sense of what happens in the world, and then we take that programming, whether it's wounding, could be abuse, could be love even, and learning to love others and say polite thank yous and please. We take that information into our adolescent phase. And adolescent phase is ages around 7 to 24. So that's a good sized gap. Our brains are still developing in that age.
Yeah.
And this is when our ego comes online, right? So this is where our masks are created. So the masks help cover the wounds that were created in childhood in our programs, okay? Again, whether it's abandonment, neglect, abuse, masks like people pleasing, codependency, blaming, shaming, guilt, all of this is created, the masks are created to cover the pain from childhood,
Yeah.
okay? In fact, they say this is where addiction is created. It's to cover up the pain so that we don't feel the pain from wounds.
Right.
Okay, so our ego creates these personas to help keep ourselves. There's three purposes of the ego or the adolescent phase. Remember the three phases, and that was to keep us alive, to keep us safe, and to keep us accepted into these tribes, our tribes. Uh, this is our junior high, high school, and first years of college. We're trying to navigate the world with our programming from childhood and trying to make sense of things.
Yeah.
So, in that phase, uh, we take our experiences, our emotional decisions, our emotional maturity, and it's put into adulthood. So, adult phase starts around the age of 25. That's when science says our brains are fully developed.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's why they say age 25 in this model for adulthood. So, if we have wounding that we haven't addressed yet, if there's patterns and limiting beliefs that have come along with us that we haven't addressed yet, we're making these decisions and these patterns in adulthood.
Right.
So now we have adolescent mindsets in adult bodies, making emotional decisions, running countries, raising families, running businesses, and patterns are just passed down from person to person, generation to the generation, right?
Yeah.
Until someone says, "Wait a minute, this pattern I've been stuck for a long time. It's not serving me anymore. I'm going to get really curious about this and see what we can do." Okay, so that's kind of the path of the healthy adult, uh, also known as the adult chair model.
Hmm.
And in adulthood, which is where we're headed today. What
Yeah.
is the healthy adult? So, the healthy adult, again, 25 and older, represents the highest self, living in present moment, right? Living with truth and fact, versus story and assumption. Story and assumption comes from our adolescent, again, where ego lives.
Yeah.
And all the ego is trying to do is keep us safe, accepted,
Yeah.
alive through stories and assumptions until the healthy adult comes in and says, now, wait a minute, what's really true here? Okay? So, in the healthy adult, we're able to set boundaries. Boundaries from a place of patience, compassion. A lot of people have felt, I felt before I learned this,
Yeah.
that boundaries were contentious. And that's not the point of a boundary. When setting the boundary from a place of compassion and patience, our energy is love. Our energy is compassion. So we can also deeply feel connected to our inner child's needs from our healthy adult, our inner child's true feelings from our healthy adult. It's only in the healthy adult that we can do this.
Yeah.
We can objectively observe our adolescent's thoughts, our adolescent's behaviors. That's one of the characteristics of a healthy adult, is coming from a place of observing objectively,
Hmm.
not taking it on personally, right?
Yeah. 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 That is so amazing because in the mindset world, in the self-development world, one of the things that we always come back to when it comes to disproving limiting beliefs is asking ourselves, well, is that the ultimate truth? Like gravity, is that the ultimate truth for your life? That someone from where you come from can't be successful, these stories that we tell ourselves, is that truth? No, it's not. So we can then shift into something that we can accept as our own truth, what feels empowering, what feels enlightening, what feels like it's going to serve me in my path to my own success.
Yes, yes. So when you say we feel this and we feel that, how do we know what it feels like if we've never felt it before? Maybe we have felt it and we don't recognize it. So one key to knowing that you're going in the right direction is that it feels good. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel yucky, it feels good. That's when we know we're in alignment,
Yeah.
right? So limiting beliefs, patterns that don't serve us anymore, that feeling of stuck, it's yuck.
Yeah.
It's a lie. Those limiting beliefs, we call them lies. They just are not true for us. That's how we know that it's a lie. It just doesn't feel good. Okay,
Yeah.
so alignment is, it feels right. There's a sense of, it's a body hug or a Tinkerbell tinglies. Like, this is what alignment feels like. We're in the body. We know where we're going. In fact, that zone, that comfort zone, or you're in the zone
Hmm.
when you're in alignment and you start talking and you start saying things that you're like, you surprise yourself. I've done this. Well, that was really good. Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm gonna have to write that one down. Right. So that's when you
Yeah.
know you're in alignment. So that's
Yeah.
that zone.
Right, right. You're in alignment with your highest self, the self that is coming from love
Yeah.
and compassion. One of the other things that struck me when you were talking about the healthy adult is also observing what comes up exactly from a place of compassion and from a place of just, oh, I'm curious. Why is that coming up? Um, I I think a lot of people tend to their first reaction when these things come up and when they're first in the beginning of their self-development journey is, when things come up, judging themselves and judging, you know, their own wounds. But what I love and what I want to pay attention to is that you're saying the healthy adult notices with compassion and it's non-judgmental and it's just a way to be curious.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a list of characteristics. I'm going to name a few for the healthy adult. And if you're listening, write these down, or you can jump on my website and grab them. Priscilla, we can give you some handouts or some links where they can find this list. It's a bullet point list of what a healthy adult looks like and feels like.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you mentioned non-judgmental, a
Hmm.
characteristic of a healthy adult. Compassion, curious, right? Observes, notices, gathers information,
Yeah.
pauses. There's that power pause. Responds rather than react. Knee jerk reactions are from our adolescent phase,
Yeah.
right? Because our adolescents trying to keep us protected, safe, accepted. Our healthy adult can wait. Healthy adult sets boundaries, feels emotions. It's only in the healthy adult that we can process triggers. What does come up? So we're curious. Something's coming up. We stay in the healthy adult with curiosity and we feel it. Feel it to heal it.
Hmm.
When, again, in our healthy adult, we can process that in 90 seconds or less. As the body starts metabolizing the chemicals, you're feeling the emotions, you're processing, and then you stay present, and literally you're aware of the shift that just happened. So grateful. Those triggers are those gifts, right? So grateful for that gift that showed up for me. Healthy adults in gratitude. We can let it go. We can let things go from our healthy adult,
Oh,
right? We're grounded. We're centered in our healthy adult, right?
yeah.
We take responsibility. I said that and I didn't mean to. What I meant to say was this. Or
Right.
I apologize, I said that. I apologize if I hurt you or that I hurt you. I care about you. That's not what I wanted for that. What can I do to make that right with you? So we take responsibility of what's ours.
Accountability.
Yep, accountability.
Yeah.
Yep. So we did talk about triggers from our adolescent phase,
Yeah.
right? Again, gifts. So in our healthy adult, we stay present. We want to stay present and we feel through that trigger. First of all, knowing it's 90 seconds or less. Telling ourselves I feel you, I see you, showing up as the healthy adult, and we move through the trigger. So we stay present in present moment through a trigger.
Yeah. Yeah. Being able to feel it to heal it. It's something that I think everybody can create more of a practice around,
Mm,
especially because the our adolescent immediately wants to just react, right? And the healthy adult responds. But in order to do that, we can't do that from a healthy place if we're still feeling that trigger. We have to feel the trigger and move through the emotions so that we can respond as the healthy adult.
yes. Beautiful.
Mm, yeah, wonderful. So I want to take this into a couple of topics because this podcast is all about helping people be successful, wealthy, and confident. So I would love to hear your thoughts on how we can approach our own confidence as a healthy adult. So this is more of a general question when it comes to us facing things like our insecurities, imposter syndrome, any kind of limiting belief that tells us that we're not good enough. What would be your like general advice as how could we approach that as the healthy adult?
Love it. Uh, I was just working with a client last night, and she's like, I don't know how. I know the limiting beliefs are there because it feels gross in my body. I don't know how to move through them. What do I do when I'm in a place? So she teaches classes, she's a consultant, and she works for another company. And she says, I know it's there, I just don't know what to do. So here's what it is. Number one, awareness, right?
Yes.
Number one is awareness, and awareness is key. Curiosity. What's next? Knowing that you're the adult and going back in to find the yuck that's in your body, a lot of the times it's that inner child that never got what they needed. So I asked her, how old do you feel, or how young? How young do you feel when you say you don't know how? And she's like, oh, I feel like I'm 8 years old. Great, where is this little one? And a memory came up for her. She was all alone as a child in a house. There was, from a large family, nobody was around, so she felt abandoned, left alone. So in her mind, she imagines, just like you and I did through the the, the moment where we went into your inner child from in the
Yeah.
adolescent phase podcast. That was so beautiful and powerful.
Yeah.
She went into that memory as an adult, and she asked her child, "What what do you need from me right now?" And she says, I need to know what's true. Is it true that I'm all alone and I'm not worth it? And she was able to state what was true. Little one, I apologize I wasn't here for you in the past, but I'm here now. And that little one was like, really? And she said, yes, I'm here and I'm never leaving you. She's like, oh, okay. And then we had the adult ask, what do you need from me now? She says, I just need a hug. I need to know I'm worth it. So we had her hug her, she scooped her up, and there was a feeling in her body that shifted. It went from heavy to light. And then we brought the source, the divine universe, whatever it was for her, down from the top and into the body, and she's like, oh my gosh, it just got light in here. I feel God, Christ with me. And she pictured them sitting on Christ's lap. And she's like, this is incredible. So through that moment, there's neural pathways being changed in the body.
Yeah.
So her reality now is she is enough. She is worthy. She is everything that inner child didn't get, she got to hear from an adult. So there's success tied in there. There's confidence tied in there now. To know that in her healthy adult, she did that. Not me, not anybody else. She did that. That's where the confidence came in.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Wow. We have the power to heal ourselves.
Yes, we do. And that's a gift.
Yeah. It's just it's so mind blowing because we don't know this information growing up. We don't know this. Most of us don't know this as an adult until we start doing this work and realizing that as we change, we can grow and we can become healthier and we can release these things. But we really have the power to change our lives. It's not up to anyone else to save us. And that's the beautiful thing is that you were guiding your client, but she was doing the work. And that's the
Yes.
thing. There needs to be a willingness to feel that. There needs to be a willingness to shift.
Yep.
And that's probably the most difficult. I would say that is the most difficult thing for this self-development world is having that willingness to feel and having that willingness to shift. Because once we do it, it's actually very simple.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. A lot of people don't know where to go, where to start.
Yeah.
Because we're built for connection, it's so important to have that coach, have that therapist, have
Yeah.
that person that understands that you can guide, but it's not yours to fix, right? So there's
Right.
that separate space, and yeah, everybody needs a therapist or a coach to help guide them through where they're at. If
Yeah.
you're aware that that's where you're at, congratulations. That takes a healthy adult to
Yeah.
do that.
Hmm.
right? Number two, ask yourself, who is it that I need to go to? Who is going to be that person for me right now? And they'll show up.
Yeah.
So we all need that support and connection, to guide us through, until it becomes a tool that we understand ourselves, that we can do it ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would love to switch gears and bring this into wealth. Um, I and I'd love to give an example from my personal life. I've been doing a lot of mindset work around money mentality and bringing in more wealth. And I would love to share this example where I was journaling about all of the limiting beliefs that were coming up when it came to money. And a majority of them were not mine. A majority of them were taught to me by family, by the adults around me, in the educational places, the schools that I went to. Um, there would be this anxiety around not enough, right? Not enough for everyone to go around, um, and I see us as a whole kind of going in that direction again, especially since there's talk of a potential depression, right? And so I would love to shed a little bit of comfort towards that and a little bit of the healthy adult, right? Because it is my fullest, deepest belief that there is enough to go around. There is an abundance. If you look outside, it's all over nature, right? If you look at the trees, there's more leaves than a tree even needs, right? That's our nature is more than enough. So, how would you approach being the healthy adult when it comes to there is more than enough, even though there seems to be an illusion, there seems to be a lie that everyone around me
Yep,
believes.
yep, yep. So there's a recognition, first of all, that there's fear, right?
Right.
So we recognize the fear. Thank you, fear, for showing up. Thank you for your protection. Thank you. I've got this. And that's from our healthy adult,
Yeah.
right? So, first of all, acknowledge what's there. Fear is real, and it's literally there to try and protect you. It doesn't know that you're the healthy adult today. So we want to educate it. Hey, I've got this now, okay? I'm 50.
Yeah.
I have a full time job. I'm coaching. I'm responsible for the successes of these. I mean, it's already happened, right? So
Yeah.
we go right into what's true,
Yeah.
right? So as fear is, if you're hearing fear from social media, from family, gatherings around the holidays,
Yeah.
friends even, you can say thank you, fear, and then ask what's true, what's really true, and
Yeah.
feel it in the body. What does truth feel like to you? Number one, as far as is there enough? Absolutely. There's been enough for as long as the earth and the planet has been around.
Yeah.
Okay? And staying centered and grounded, it doesn't cost anybody anything. And nobody can take that from you.
Yeah.
That belongs to you. Um, it does that help?
That does help. Yeah. Yeah. Especially, I love what you said about being grounded because nature is abundant. We come from nature. We are all parts of the universe. We're all parts of the same whole.
Yes.
So if we're grounded, if we're in the earth, we can be a part of that nature and a part of that energy again. And for those of you listening, one of my favorite things to do to get grounded is to simply imagine roots coming out of my root chakra, like just envisioning that, and then it going down to the core of the
Mm,
earth and
mm,
attaching itself.
mm.
Yeah,
That feels so. I
that's
love that.
that's what I like to do when I try to get like grounded when I'm a little bit too in the air and too all over the place. That's just a nice little quick visualization to get grounded in your center because when you I think that's a perfect correlation when especially with the scarcity mindset around not having enough, right? If we can get grounded, we can get in the energy of nature, of true abundance, of
Yes.
there is always more than enough.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
And I love the grounding visual that you gave. Um, when I first started trying to ground, it was so foreign to me. I couldn't imagine me going down to the middle of the earth because I've never been down there before. I didn't know what it looked like, right?
Yeah.
So, what worked for me, and if this is something that resonates with you guys listening, I imagined the roots of a tree or a bush coming up to meet me. And so we shared that energy path. It had me, and I went to meet Mother Earth. You know, because that's a visual that I'm walking around in bare feet on the grass. I'm feeling it's an experience for me. So I was able to have Mother Earth come up and meet me to
Yeah.
start the grounding. So just another exercise and experiential.
I love that. Yeah. Mother Gaia coming up to meet you.
Yes.
That's lovely. That's such a lovely visual. I imagine like a goddess with a bunch of branches and earth around her when I think
Love
of
that.
Mother Gaia. That's
Oh, I love
lovely.
that. Yes. Yes, being in our
Awesome.
body is key in our healthy adult.
Yeah.
One thing that might help if you feel like you disassociate. So when I say disassociate, it literally is not remembering a conversation that you're having with somebody, not remembering a situation or a location that you're in. Your body goes separate from spirit, soul to keep yourself safe. When we
Mhm.
are in an emotion, when there's an emotion in us and we're feeling it, disassociation starts to happen.
Mhm.
So if you start feeling like you need to cry to process, you can get something heavy and put it on your lap, a bean bag, or even a book, and it helps keep you in your body as you are processing that emotion.
Oh, yeah, because of the weight.
Yes, the weight keeps you in the body. Okay, so also if you find yourself in a conversation and you're starting to leave mentally and it's starting to trigger something inside of you, you can literally start tapping your body. This is
Mhm.
your kidney meridians, your K27s.
Mhm.
This will help keep you in your body. And you can even tell the person in the situation, hey, I need a few minutes. I, I just need a few minutes. And you don't have to tell them what's going on. It's not their business to know. I just need a
Yeah.
few minutes. I'll be right back. Go to the bathroom, whatever, and you start tapping and coming back or staying in your body, and you
Mhm.
just say, I'm safe. I'm safe. Another tool is the havening. This also is a good regulation tool to keep you in your body. It's so
Yeah.
key. And from our healthy adult, this is the only place this happens is staying in your body from your healthy adult.
Yeah. Like self-soothing.
It is self-soothing, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. This what was this one called again?
It's called havening.
Havening.
Yeah.
That's crazy that there's a name for it. I when I'm feeling a little, and I need to comfort, I do this naturally. I do havening naturally.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I've got me. I'm safe. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm in my body.
I love that.
Yep.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. This has all been so helpful to just shed some light on the healthy adult. I would love to put a bow on this and ask, um, how do we approach our healthy adults when it comes to relationships, especially romantic relationships? Because and the reason I'm like talking about these topics for the listeners out there is because I want you to be able to have as many tools as possible in as many instances as possible. So I especially think with relationships, especially romantic relationships, a lot of our needs and our wants that we didn't have growing up come out in our relationships. And I believe that the biggest empowering thing you can do is take care of yourself and let your partner know. let your friends know that there is something going on, but you're the only one that can really soothe that child and that
Yeah.
adolescent.
Yeah.
So when when things come up, when we're in these relationships and when we really want the other person to kind of fulfill this need for us, which would create toxicity and codependence if that ended up happening, I want you to continue to be healthy. So how do we approach that as a healthy adult?
Yes. This can be a whole other podcast, relationships and dating from your healthy adult.
We should
Right?
do another. We should do one. Yeah,
Okay,
with the
absolutely.
yeah,
Here's
yeah.
what's key. To date
Mm,
from our healthy adult, we really want to know who we are. Am I asking this out of, am I depending on another person to feel a need that I can meet myself? Like loneliness. Why
oh,
are we lonely? What am I not getting? From our healthy adult, I ask, why do I feel lonely? To outsource loneliness is can be an adolescent trait.
yeah.
It turns into a codependency, depending on others to meet my own needs. Right? So from our healthy adult, I sit in that. I sit in that loneliness, and from what I've recently gone through, I had to sit in it, and of course it brings me to tears. And guess who showed up? My little 5-year old. And I said, "Thank you for being here. What do you need from me right now?" And you get in there, and after I was able to sit and she sat on my lap and I met some of the needs that she was asking for, that loneliness went away. That
Yeah.
space was filled with love, was filled with compassion, abundance, confidence. I felt wealthy in who I was in that moment. That because from our healthy adult we're aware that it's within us and another person can't feel that. All right.
Mhm.
So romantically, who am I first? And so we want an interdependent relationship, not a codependent relationship. Two healthy adults coming to connect rather than depend.
Mm. Connection over dependence. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I would love to kind of take this in a different direction because when you brought that child and loved her out of that loneliness, it kind of reminded me of kind of in the first couple of years of my own self-development journey,
Mm.
when I was able to kind of shift things slowly and more as a habit. I would start to manifest things, and things that I wanted started to show up, and it became a little bit unhealthy where I was like, okay, I started to get obsessed. I started to be like, okay, what's the next goal? Like it just never seemed good
Mm.
enough for me. And so as we're talking about that, I'm like, huh, I'm starting to recognize that in myself. I always thought ambition was a good thing, but I think too much of something
Yes.
isn't good,
Yeah.
right? It's not good for
Awareness.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So even taking that into different things, you can really apply this to any part of your life.
Yes.
Wow.
The
Yeah.
success. What's
The
blocking us?
success.
Right? The wealth. What's blocking us? The confidence. What's blocking us?
Yeah.
And from a healthy adult, we ask and we get curious. And then we want to say what's opposite. If you want what's opposite, then we feel what's true for us. So
Yeah.
if we're being blocked by success, well, first of all, what's success to you? What does confidence look like for you? And what does wealth mean for you? And why do you
Yeah.
not have it already? Right? So we can slow things down and say, okay, so if success for you is money, money's just energy. It's an energy
Yeah.
transaction. Just like relationships are energy transactions. Everything's energy. So if we're being blocked by this thing called money, why? What in childhood, again, going back to childhood, where did we hear the evil necessity, money. Money is only for rich people, right? Things that we heard that we weren't aware of until we slow it down. We're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So those kind of limiting beliefs are not conscious, but they're in our subconscious, and they're blocking us from receiving from whatever's blocking you. And as we go through that and we uncover that, we reprogram it. You are abundant. You are wealth. To know that that's true really changes the channeling and allowing the flow to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like law of attraction. We're all a magnet to something all the time. And I like to look at limiting beliefs as like kind of just gunk
Yep.
and things that are just attached to
Yep.
the magnet. But we have the power to clean our magnet. We have the power to wash away our magnet and choose differently, release and choose differently.
It is. It is a law. It's a universal law. It's an energy
Yeah.
law. What is happening with us, we are attracting. So let's change that and attract your desires. What is it that your desires are green lights, they say,
Yeah.
right?
Desires are meant for us. They
Yep.
wouldn't be in our hearts if it wasn't meant for us.
Yeah. To be in soul
Yeah.
and spirit is about expansion. Spirit's about expansion, right?
Yeah, you will never be wrong for wanting your desires. You will
Never.
never be wrong for wanting to change the world for the good,
Yep.
you know?
Yep. You're here to do that part. So if you're listening to this podcast and this resonates with you, this is for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is for you. I feel that. It's about changing ourselves, changing our internal world so that we can attract,
Yep.
grow, expand, and eventually that's a domino effect.
It is.
It impacts everything around you. Your healing, your vibration impacts everything around you. High vibration eats up lower vibration. So even just someone being around you when you've done this healing work, it'll impact everybody. It'll impact everyone around you. It could be subtle, it could be big, but that's the power of your healing when you heal yourself because you are a part of the universe, because you are a piece of this whole. All of the healing that you do impacts the entire whole.
Yes. I'm getting chills. Truth bumps, right? Oh,
Truth
that's so
bumps.
powerful, Priscilla. That's it.
Yeah.
We're here to grow and expand. And when we say we as a collective, you specifically have a part in it.
Yeah.
There, there will never be another you on this planet. There was not a you before you, and there will never be another you after you. You're here to do a specific thing. What does your shine look like? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, the odds of somebody even being born as they are, I forget the odds, but it's an insane amount. It has to be intentional at this point. It can't not be intentional because there are so many factors of you being born exactly the way you were is just it's crazy when you think about it, really. You are meant to do something very special with your life. Um, so wonderful. That is how to be the healthy adult, really, is just recognizing and being loving towards yourself and being loving towards all of the parts of you that feel fear and feel these lacks and the things that we didn't need.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or that
exactly.
we needed and that we didn't get.
Yeah, exactly. Even as healers on this earth, we're still human.
Yeah.
We went through a child phase, an adolescent phase, an adult phase. And as healers go through and own what happened, then they know what's true, and then they can start opening the cracks of the light that they go towards, and then their gifts become bigger and brighter, and they reach more people
Yeah.
because they've done the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like
And
you
you
have.
gotta you got to walk the walk, you know? You got to be willing to do the healing that you're asking others to do. So in essence, we're just all healing together.
We are in. We're all in this together.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love to say that. We all are in this together.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Shanna. I really appreciate you for being on this podcast with me and doing this three-part series.
Yeah.
To the listeners out there, I hope you enjoyed this. We're going to have all of Shanna's information on the show notes, but Shanna, how can people reach out to you? How can people work with you? What are your Instagram handles? All that good things.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, shannastevens.com. I've got a
Okay.
play workshop coming up, finding yourself through play. I recently processed some grief of my own as I lost my play. It got heavy and it was dark, and all of a sudden something made me chuckle, and it started shifting things for me, and I started playing around with another friend, and it made such a big difference for me. So we're like, we're going to do a play workshop. So we've got a play workshop coming up, and if that's something that you're interested in, DM me or reach out to me and let me know that you're interested in that information, and we'll give you more details.
Wonderful. Thank you. And is it an online
It'll be an online workshop.
workshop?
Yep.
Wonderful. Okay. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. It has been such a pleasure. And to the listeners out there, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you're able to look at your child, your inner child, love it, and recognize the fears that are coming up from your adolescent and be the healthy adult in your life because you have the power to shift, you have the power to change, you have the power to clear your magnet and be that energetic match for the things that you want. And I hope that this really, really helped you. Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Shanna. And to the listeners, I will see you in the next podcast. Bye.